Happy New Year. We've been jumping back and forth between the Ballasting project and the V-Berth project for the past couple of weeks. I'm really anxious to get done with the Ballasting project because I've been working on it for a long time now. And we're definitely getting closer to being able to paint up in the V-Berth. We have some expensive projects coming up, and so we are very happy to be sponsored by Surfshark VPN for this episode. My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home. I've got the top of the tank taped in. So that means that the next part of the tank project is to build this vertical wall which comes up right here. Before I do that though, Cranston the other day was here and he helped me fill in this hole that was in the bulkhead right here. And so I need to laminate over this piece that was fit in here. And I have to laminate both sides. I had a hard time deciding if I should vacuum bag this or just laminate over it. And I'm going to vacuum bag it because, first of all, the vertical part of this tank comes up right up the center of it, so I want to make sure that it's really watertight. And it also helps with fairing a little bit. This will have to be faired and pretty, this area right here. And so vacuum bagging it just makes the fiberglass nice and flat, makes it a little bit easier to fair. It's not necessary that I vacuum bag these parts, but figure it'll be a little bit better product, and so I might as well do it. We are really happy to have Surfshark as a sponsor of this episode. Surfshark is a VPN, which means it creates a virtual private network, keeping your identity and your activities hidden from internet service providers, the websites you visit, and keeping your private information from those looking to steal it.
Probably like you, we can't afford to have folks accessing our private finances online. When we are using mobile banking apps, I am weary of using public Wi-Fi hotspots, which makes it easier for folks to access our private information. I use Surfshark on public Wi-Fi to hide my activities from those looking to access our online banking. It's as easy as pressing Quick Connect to create a private network with its own IP address to keep our information confidential. There are over 100 countries with thousands of servers to choose from, and one subscription can have an unlimited number of devices connected. Duracell Project viewers get 85% off and 3 free months when you type in the code Duracell. And you have 30 days to try it out or get your money back. Just check out the description below.
As this project progresses, like I've said in previous episodes, sanding, grinding, and prep work will take a lot of my time. I'm not always thrilled to be getting out the sander and hooking up my vacuum, but it is nice to turn on an audiobook and just zone out for a few hours. We will try not to bore you too much with sanding montages, but it is a big part of boat work. The lower side of the tanks are taped in. Now it's time to start building the upper tanks. And so what I'm going to do is I have these pieces cut out that were part of the old ballast tanks. They're cut to fit and make this vertical section of the tank. And so I'm just going to glue those in, and then later I'll come back and fiberglass them in. So this morning all I'm doing is just making thickened epoxy and gluing them in, and as well as baffles. I have a baffle for each tank that will be glued in as well.
It's kind of cool that you get to test out your mocked up work table. How is it working for you?
Works great. Yeah, I really like it. I'm excited to, store stuff, like get drawers and cabinets and stuff installed. I lost count. Well. The blocks are there to position the part. Before gluing it in, I squirted some hot glue on the blocks and pressed the part against them to hold it in place so I don't have to worry about bumping it out of position.
And remind us, the baffle, do they match the baffles on the bottom in the lower tanks?
They do the same thing where they basically keep water from sloshing around inside the tank, as well as kind of add some structure to the tank. The upper tank sections were now ready to be taped inside and out, making them structural to the boat and watertight. I've got this one taped in and everything, so obviously I have to get the other 3 to the point that this one's at, and then I could paint the insides and then putting the lid on. So we're ballasting.
We're what, honey?
We're moving forward quickly.
What's next with the ballast tank project?
Well, we're ballasting along.
Ballasting ahead. Ballasting ahead.
Ballasting ahead.
Ballasting.
These are the cubby holes that will be next to our bed in the V-berth. After cutting out the holes, I rounded over the edges with a router, and then I have to seal the edges to protect the exposed foam. This project will be full of these tedious little projects. When I tape in these furniture pieces, I'm using a roll of 6-ounce cloth as opposed to my normal 17-ounce biax. None of this stuff is being installed to add structure to the boat and won't be heavily loaded. Using the 6-ounce glass roll is faster and uses less resin. I've taped in all of these pieces with fiberglass, and I've just got this one last one left to do. I've been moving back and forth between the ballast tanks project and the V-berth to give myself some variety, or if I have to wait for something to happen in one area, I can move on to the other for some time.
What's next with the bed?
Next is to finish the shelves inside there.
I like the cubbies.
Yeah. Put rails on for the bed, like slats that go across. And painting. Lots of painting.
What you doing now?
Same thing I have been doing. These are like tacked in with just like little bits of epoxy, and so now I'm gonna fill in the empty spots with glue and then tape it in with fiberglass.
And that beautiful pink color, that is fairing?
Yeah, so I don't know, I guess I was like anxious to do something different last night, and so Dave, the paint guy, dropped off a whole bunch of all fair. So, and what that is an epoxy fairing, and it just comes in 2 parts, and you mix equal parts of both, and then you just sweep it on. And I mixed up what I thought was a little bit, like about 2 baseball sized blobs of each, just to see how far it would go and how well it would stick and all this stuff. I started sanding the overhead, and so I wanted to see how well it would stick to the overhead, and it went a lot further than I thought it was going to. I'm trying to do a really what I call tight sweep, and so I'm just kind of filling in the crack, filling in the sanding grooves, and make the walls and the ceiling a little bit smoother. I'm not trying to make it perfect. It's not going to be perfectly fair or anything. And so, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting to start sanding it and see how it turns out. But this is the first step to starting to paint, basically.
I have a question. There's been a lot of the same the last couple of weeks. You've been sanding, gluing in, fiberglassing, sanding more, gluing in, fiberglassing.
Yeah.
Like, does it start to feel tedious to you?
Yeah, it's pretty tedious. But, I guess I know that it's not going to be forever. So, I just, I'm trying to get through this project, and then I know another cool project is on the horizon. And it's also, like, once it's done, it's really nice to see how it turns out and everything. At the same time, I have no room to complain because I'm doing what I love to do. So.
When you're not physically working on the boat, you've been doing a lot of research these days. What are some of the exciting projects you've been researching that are on the horizon?
I've been working on two main things, which is the mast and the propulsion. What I'm planning on is a serial hybrid electric propulsion. So I've been thinking about that a lot and trying to come up with the best plan for making that happen. The mast, we are heading down to LA in a few weeks, and we're going to go check out a mast we're pretty sold on. I'm really excited about that. It'll be a huge step in the process, getting a mast in the yard.
Thank you so much to Tom. Tom grew up in a sailing family, and he's had many adventures on boats, including living on an Erickson 32 in Santa Cruz, fishing like a madman in Monterey Bay. He recently led eco tours on a pontoon boat in Florida, and now he lives on the Hood Canal with his wife and his dog. Thank you so much, Tom.
And thank you to Rob and Marguerite, who are from the Netherlands. They have this very special boat called Seau de Jus, which means a bucket of juice. They have been refitting it with new electronics and rigging and plumbing, and plan to spend 2 months this summer in England, Scotland, Norway. They love cruising and being in nature and dropping in sweet anchorages. So thank you very much, Rob and Marguerite.
Tusen takk, Harald from Sande, Norway. Harald lives with his wife, Ida, and he has a 31-foot sailboat, but he is interested in a bigger boat and possibly even a big refit project. So thank you so much, Harald.
And thank you to Ruud, who is, he's Dutch but lives in Spain. He is working on getting all of his necessary licenses to start sailing himself. He hasn't done it in a long time and is trying to get back into it. And is also going to be on the hunt for a new boat very soon.
Thank you, Bob. Bob is in New England and recently retired. As a retirement gift to himself, he took a 10-day on-the-water live-aboard sailing course, and he just put an offer on a Hunter 44. So we're all crossing his fingers that the survey goes well and that he can start his plan of sailing New England during the summers and then sailing down to Florida and the Caribbean during the winters.
And lastly, thank you to Ray and James. If you're interested in joining our Patreon community, you can find us at the Duracell Project on patreon.com. And lastly, don't forget to check out Surfshark VPN. You can click the link in the description below.